Process safety management is important because number one, it saves lives. It reduces risk of people being in harm's way and putting the environment in harm's way.
Process safety management is exactly what it is. It's managing the process safely.
The reason process safety management is so important is because of how refineries run. What they're asked to do are to process crude oil. We have temperatures ranging from 900 degrees up. The chemicals that we're using are toxic and flammable and explosive, and how that is managed, how those materials get managed is very important.
You need to understand the hazards and you have to respect them. I mean, you have to truly be aware of your surroundings all the time.
Process safety management has elevated the employee to have a say-so in their daily work lives to keep safe and be able to go home to their families.
Process safety management is quite important for workers because we are the ones first exposed if there's an issue.
That's kind of the problem. The process safety stuff is almost invisible. Like you don't see it just walking around looking at stuff. You know, you have to be aware of, am I inside my temperature guidelines? Are we maintaining the proper pressures? If you've activated, a pressure relief valve, I mean, something went wrong to get there. It's a good thing that it worked, but then now is it going to work the next time? I mean, you need to be aware of those kind of things.
If you think about the idea you're on an airplane and you're wondering what the safety record of the airplane is like, you're not worried about if the flight attendants have cut themselves, if they've tripped, if they've had falls or anything like that. You want to know things like, are the pilots trained? Is the equipment safe? Do the people that work on it, do they know what they're doing? Are there emergency procedures in place? Keep those ideas in mind and think about refineries and chemical plants, and that's process safety.
All of the original PSM regulatory language was completely rewritten. It was based on, in many ways, the industry's own best practices. There is a sort of engineering component that has damage mechanism reviews that get into high temperature hydrogen attack and corrosion and all of these elements, PHA, hierarchy of controls analysis, a safeguard protection analysis. And then there's sort of a human element, which requires analysis of human factors, management of organizational change.
A couple things you need to look for while you're working. If a new piece of equipment went in, you need to ask for the MOC, which is the management of change. Make sure you understand all the checks and balances. Did someone do a review of it? Has it been checked for its safety, ergonomics? Has it been looked at from a mechanical integrity perspective? Has it been looked at from a design perspective? Does it meet the metal thickness? You need to also look for PSSRs when they ask you to do a walkthrough. Make sure that your equipment is in the right orientation. Make sure it's functional and it also meets design. It's a layer protection analysis. Anytime we remove a layer of protection, make sure before you allow any type of maintenance, there is another layer of protection protecting that piece of equipment. That's very important.
Maybe the biggest piece of process safety management is mechanical integrity. If the pipes are failing, if vessels are failing, then the process isn't staying in the unit and we're having leaks, we're having exposures that aren't supposed to happen.
Steel looks pretty tough, but just the motion of the fluid in the lines is slowly wearing away at that pipe, and you need to be aware of how corrosive the material is, how durable the pipe is. And so you need to have a kind of a pretty good understanding of the mechanics and the chemistry of what you're doing.
Process safety management to me is keeping it in the pipes, doing everything possible to keep it in the pipes.
Damage mechanism reviews on how things can fail, that work needs to be done. It gives us a chance to look ahead at problems we might have if we keep proceeding down a certain path.
For every regulation when it comes to safety, whether it's health and safety or process safety, our members' blood has been spilled from inception of unions unto current day.
If you have a concern and take it to your crew leader or your foreman and you get pushback, you need to call your union rep. That's what he's there for. It's his job to argue with the company about that. You know, I mean, everything we've talked about leads to that, right? You need to manage what you're doing. The idea is to keep it in the pipes, right? And if you're keeping it in the pipes, everything is fine.
Hey, to all my USW members out there, it's a new day, it's a new age. We should all be educating ourselves, coming together, and learning what we can. When one of your union safety reps, if your PSM rep comes to you and asks for your help, volunteer, jump on board, and together we can make this a safer place to work.